What if feeling lost is not a failure, but a summons from the one who knows every path through the dark? What if the confusion you carry is not an enemy to be crushed, but a compass waiting to be placed in the right hands? Tonight, as you listen, I want you to imagine a single phrase, turning like a key inside a locked door. A breath timed to a name that bends the road back toward your purpose. Ibn Arabi would say that when you are most uncertain, the real is closest, seeking to be known through your bewilderment. If you feel lost, recite this, and watch how Allah redirects your life. There is a prayer that rose from the deepest night a human being ever faced. The supplication of Prophet Yunus in the belly of the whaler, Ilahan Subhanaka, inni kuntu min azalimin. There is no God but you. Glory be to you. Truly I have been among the wrongdoers. It is a confession, a surrender, and a return in one breath. The Quran preserves it as the cry from layered darkness, and as a sign that no darkness is beyond the reach of mercy. Quran 21-87. If you feel swallowed by circumstance, let this be your lantern. Admit, glorify, and witness the only one. Ibn Arabi teaches that every divine name is a doorway, and that the heart is the house in which that door opens. Among those names is Al-Hadi, the guide. Pair the prayer of Yunus with the name of guidance, and your tongue becomes a pathlighter. Ya Hadi, Idinio, guide, guide me. Repeat it softly, as if you were lifting a veil from your own vision. In the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, Ibn Arabi often describes how sound and meaning weave together, such that the name you voice wakes its reality inside you. Recitation is not magic, it is alignment. You are tuning yourself to the current of guidance already flowing. Before we rush into methods, pause and notice your body's map of being lost. Tight chest, shallow breath, scattered thoughts. Sufis say the heart is a mirror. Dust accumulates with neglect. Dhikr, remembrance, is the polish. When you whisper Ya Hadi, imagine a cloth passing over that mirror, stroke after stroke. What once reflected only fear begins to reflect a face. Ibn Arabi writes, as a paraphrase, that the real is the mirror in which creation sees itself, and creation is the mirror in which the real beholds his names. You are not trying to force solutions, you are practicing visibility. Here is a simple practice. At dawn and at night, sit comfortably and let your breath settle. On the in-breath, silently say, La ilaha illa Allah. On the out-breath, let the chest relax. Then, with each gentle breath, recite Ya Hadi Ini. Begin with 33 repetitions, then expand as your attention grows. Afterward, conclude with the supplication of Yunus, not as an emergency siren, but as a regular confession of need and nearness. The Quran reminds that Allah is near and responds when the caller calls. Quran 2:186. Nearness is not a place. It is a recognition that you can enter in any moment. Consider a story of seeking, the young Abraham, turning from stars to moon to sun, and then beyond all luminous forms, to the one who lights them. That quest is not ancient. It is happening in your living room when you turn away from lesser certainties and toward the unseen that animates them. Ibn Arabi's path is not the path of arguing reality into submission, but of tasting it. When you repeat Ya Hadi, you are not begging a distant deity. You are tasting the name of guidance already inscribed in your own soul. Redirection is rediscovery. The path was always here. What sustains the journey is love. Ibn Arabi sings in the Tarjuman al-Ashwaq, my heart has become capable of every form. I follow the religion of love. Whichever way love's camels take, that is my religion and my faith. Love does not erase doctrine, it reveals the living heart of it. To be guided is to be loved into your right place. When you recite the prayer of Yunus, do not scold yourself. Hold your heart as you would a child who wandered off. Guidance does not drag you home. It takes your hand and walks at your pace. When panic rises, what if I never find my way? Return to the source of all reassurance. Truly, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find rest? Quran 13:28. Let the verse become a rhythm, not an argument. Remembering is returning. Rest is the effect. Ibn Arabi often says that knowledge of God is knowledge of yourself before the world draws you outward. The more you remember, the more your steps begin to fall into place. You stop measuring progress by external milestones and start asking a deeper question. Is my heart more lucid today than it was yesterday? Now, consider how this looks in practice. You wake feeling adrift, so you begin with 10 slow breaths. La ilaha illa Allah, dissolving the false gods of comparison and fear. You move into Ya Hadi Dini, matching the sound to your heartbeat. Your mind tries to bargain, give me a sign, give me a plan, but you let the name make you receptive. Then Yunus's cry rises, La ilaha anta, subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz zalimin. You admit your limits and praise the limitless. You stand up not with a blueprint, but with a softness that makes you available to the next right step. Ask yourself, what would it mean today to trust redirection more than control? Where am I insisting on a door that no longer opens? Ibn Arabi would invite you to witness that every closure is a name, every delay a teacher. The unity of being does not mean everything you want will happen. It means everything that happens can be read as guidance. Keep a small journal. After each practice, write a sentence. What did I notice? What softened? What felt invited? Over days, you will see a pattern. The guide is speaking in the contours of your actual life. This is only the beginning. In the next part, we will explore how Ibn Arabi understands bewilderment as a sacred station, and how the science of the divine names turns confusion into clarity without violence. We will look at how to listen for guidance in people, places, and timing, and how to take one step without needing to know the whole road. Bewilderment can feel like drowning, but Ibn Arabi invites us to see it as sacred buoyancy, the heart, held above the waves by a wisdom we cannot yet name. He calls this Hera, a bewilderment that is not confusion's panic but its Oz expansion. When the familiar maps fall away, a wider horizon appears, and the soul learns to read sky instead of street signs. Ask yourself, what if the feeling of being lost is the sound of doors opening in directions you never considered? In this station, recitation is not a lifeline thrown from outside. It is the discovery that the sea itself can carry you. To whisper Ya Hadi here is to let guidance teach you how to float. Consider Musa's journey with Al-Qidiyah, where the prophet of law is taught by a man of hidden wisdom. Boat scuttled, boy taken, wall repaired, dechacked, seems wrong until the veils are lifted. The Quran preserves this story to teach how guidance may contradict immediate judgment while still serving ultimate mercy. Quran 18, 60-82. Ibn Arabi, in the chapter on Moses infuses al-Hikam, reads this as a precise medicine for the soul. When you feel lost, do not rush to condemn the moment. You may be standing at the threshold of a meaning you cannot yet endure. Ya Hadi becomes patience embodied. Ibn Arabi calls the divine names a science of tastes, because each name flavors perception and reshapes how we meet reality. If Al-Hadi is the compass, Al-Latif the subtle is the gentle wind that turns the needle without shattering it. Ar-Rashid, the one who sets right, adjusts our steps after we are turned. Try weaving these names into one breath. Ya Hadi, Ya Hashid, Ya Rashid, guide me with subtlety and set me aright. Let the words move slowly, as if you were pouring warm oil into a locked hinge. In the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, Ibn Arabi teaches that remembrance awakens the meaning of the name within the servant. You do not summon something absent, you uncover what already lives. The unity of being is often misunderstood as a doctrine. In Ibn Arabi's hands, it is a way of seeing that prevents violence against experience. He speaks of the real disclosing himself in forms, and of the paradox, he not he. Each thing is a theophany, yet none contains the absolute. To live this insight is to let guidance arrive through form without worshipping the form. The closed door is He in its closure. The open window is He in His mercy. Your confusion is He teaching you limits, and your clarity is He gifting you direction. Recitation becomes alignment with the real as it appears, not a demand that reality become what you prefer. Remember as you practice that the nearness you seek is already the atmosphere of your life. We are closer to Him than His jugular vein. Quran 52:16. Let that verse soften your urgency. If the real is nearer than your own pulse, then every breath of Ya Hadi is simply acknowledging what is. You are not building a bridge to a distant shore. You are turning your chair toward a light already in the room. This reframing changes everything. You stop measuring guidance by dramatic signs and start noticing the quiet accord between your heart and the next ethical, merciful step. The Sero gives us moments of luminous redirection when outward defeat becomes inward opening. After Taif battered and rejected, the Prophet supplicated not for revenge but for the light of guidance to extend, even if through a generation to come. That night, consolation arrived, and a field of angels became a field of prayer. This is the adab of the guided heart. No bitterness, only availability. Reciting the supplication of Yunus within such moments is not self-blame. It is wide humility. You are pure. I am limited. Redirect me as you will. Ibn Arabi would add, the station you occupy is a name. Inhabit it with beauty so the name reveals its mercy. Sufi masters teach courtesy in bewilderment. Abd al-Qadir al-Gilani warned his students, when a light appears, test it by the law, by mercy, and by humility. If it seeks to inflate you, turn away. Rabia al-Adawiyya taught that love burns through bargaining, leaving only want for the one. Ibn Arabi harmonizes these threads. The guidance of al-Hadi never contradicts the compassion of al-Rahman or the wisdom of al-Hakim. So, as you recite, watch for qualities, not fireworks. Do you become more patient with your family, less harsh with yourself, more honest in your work? These are signs the compass is aligning, the mirror is clearing, the road is quietly redirecting beneath your feet. Here is a simple redirection ritual for days when your mind is a storm. First, emptiness. Sit, breathe, and let La ilaha illa Allah loosen the idols of control. Second, naming. Softly repeat Ya Hadi Ya Latif, Ya Rashid for a set number 33, each letting the names settle like sand in clear water. Third, listening. Close the eyes for 2 minutes and ask, what is the next beautiful, truthful step? Accept only answers that do not violate compassion or integrity. If uncertainty remains, pray, salat, or istikhara that night. The Prophet taught it for crossroads. Ibn Arabi would call this adab, with the unknown. You prepare the cup. The rain decides the hour. Now act with trust, even if the step seems small. You may be guided to send an apology, decline an offer, take a walk without your phone, or open the Quran to a daily portion without hunting for an omen. The point is not to force victory. It is to become consistent in beauty. When you have resolved, then trust in Allah, we are told. And whoever trusts in Allah, He is sufficient for him. Quran 65:3. Notice how trust and resolution sit together, no paralysis by analysis. Ibn Arabi would say that the name Al-Hadi loves movement. A turned heart walks, and walking reveals the next sign. You do not steer a parked car. Ibn Arabi writes, in the Futuhat, the end of knowledge is bewilderment, Nihayat, al-Idrak, al-Hayra. Do not fear this end, it is the beginning of intimacy. In bewilderment, you stop using God as a tool for certainty and start letting God be your certainty. You become like Ibrahim in the fire unharmed, not because the flames vanished, but because a command cooled them. You begin to sense redirections in timing doors that used to open now resist. New paths appear in casual conversations. A line of poetry answers a question you did not know you asked. Keep your journal. Record the name you invoked, the feeling that followed, and the step you took. Before we continue, tell me this in the comments. What line will you carry from the title into your day? Will it be Ya Had, guide me, or La ila anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin? Share your phrase so others can recite it with you. If you're ready, I'll take you to part 3, where we'll learn how to discern inner whispers from true guidance, how Ibn Arabi reads dreams and signs, and how love makes redirection sweet even when it is hard. How do you tell a true redirection from a noisy whisper? Ibn Arabi gives us a language for this discernment, the warid, a visitation from the real that arrives with luminosity and adab, versus the waswasa, the insinuation of the ego that arrives with urgency and self-importance. He situates both in the imaginal barzakan in between where meanings take forms, so the heart must learn to taste, not just to think. Begin by remembering. Recitation is a tuning fork. When you say Ya Hadi, Ya Latif, you are not hunting for a dramatic sign. You are calibrating your instruments so that guidance rings true and imposters distonate. The more you polish the mirror, the more clearly you can see which face is looking back. Dreams are one of the oldest theaters of guidance, and Ibn Arabi calls them a school of meanings whose language is symbol and taste. Consider how Yusuf's dream unfolded 11 stars, the sun and the moon bowing on, how years later the image resolved into lived reconciliation. The Quran preserves this as a map for us, not a museum piece. When Joseph said, I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon, I saw them prostrating to me, a seed of redirection was planted that only time could blossom. Quran 12-4. If a dream comes after you recite Yunus's prayer or the names of guidance, do not rush it into literal action. Treat it as a letter. First learn its language. Here is a gentle method for discernment that many Sufis teach and Ibn Arabi's Adab affirms. Let the message sit in the heart for 3 days of remembrance. Each day, give the same offering, La ilaha illa Allah, to dissolve idols, Ya Hadi, Ya Latif, to refine perception, and a few breaths of Yunus's plea to ground you in humility. Watch what qualities the message produces. If it inflames haste, superiority, or secrecy, suspect the ego. If it deepens patience, clarity, and compassion, lean closer. Ibn Arabi writes in the Futuhat that the imaginal realm delivers meanings in forms. Your task is to witness the meaning by its fruit, not be dazzled by the form. Guidance also speaks outside you in timing, encounters, and small coincidences that feel like gentle nudges. Ibn Arabi calls this world a theater of theophanies, the real showing himself in ever-shifting mirrors. The adab here is to welcome signs without forcing patterns. Do not read every passing cloud as an omen. Do not ignore the cloud that waters the seed you just planted. You recite Ya Hadi, and then meet a friend whose advice echoes your prayer. You open a book, and a line answers the question you wrote in your journal. The point is not to become superstitious, but to become attentive to mercy. There is a verse that balances attention with humility. We will show them our signs on the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. Quran 41:53. Ibn Arabi reads this unveiling as gradual and relational. You are shown according to your readiness and your adab, so keep the companionship of the names. When guidance feels thin, turn to Al-Basir to see truly, to Al-Hakim, to understand wisely, to Ar-Rahman, to keep your heart wide. The more comprehensive your remembrance, the less likely you are to mistake a narrow impulse for a complete directive. Breath protects depth. Now 3 filters that turn whispers into wisdom. First, the law. Nothing from Al-Hadi will ask you to break what the messenger brought. Second, mercy. If the impulse harms others or humiliates you, pause. The guide aligns with Rama. Third, counsel. Take your sense to a trusted, grounded person. Ibn Arabi frequently traveled with companions of insight because the real scatters wisdom among hearts. This is not outsourcing your conscience. it is keeping company with clarity. If confusion persists, return to prayer and, if needed, to Salat al-Istikhara, not as a lottery ticket but as a posture of availability. Choose for me, O chooser. Let me give you a living parable. A seeker hears a sudden inner command: quit your job now and move far away. It surges with excitement, but also fear and secrecy. After 3 days of remembrance, the excitement cools, and another whisper appears. Repair your trust with your team, tidy your finances, and revisit this decision in 3 months. Which one bears the qualities of al-Hadi and Air? The second, it does not flatter the ego with drama. It builds a truthful path. As Ibn Arabi would counsel, the perfect redirection harmonizes the inward taste with outward wisdom. Spirit and form shake hands. The Quran cautions, if a report comes from an unreliable source, verify, lest you harm others unknowingly. Quran 49-6. Apply this to your interior newsroom. When a headline blares inside they wronged you, cut them off forever. Ask, who is the reporter? If it is injury, pride, or comparison, slow down. Recite La ilaha illa Allah to dethrone the false sovereigns, and Ya Hadi to seat the guide. Then look for corroboration. Does the message align with character, with counsel, with counts? Does it pass through humility? Ibn Arabi's subtle criterion is simple. The real's command expands the heart even when it is difficult. The ego's command contracts it even when it is sweet. Love makes all of this not only bearable, but sweet. Ibn Arabi's most famous lines in Tarjuman al-Ashwaq sing, "My heart has become capable of every form. I follow the religion of love. Whichever way love's camels take, that is my religion and my faith." Love is not indulgence. It is the gravity that keeps guidance in orbit around mercy. When you are redirected, measure by love's increase. Do you love truth more than image? Do you love people more deeply, with cleaner boundaries? Do you love the real in whatever form he shows an opening, a closing, a delay, a surprise? The name Al-Wadud, the loving perfumes every true instruction. So when you feel lost, recite this with intention. La ilaha anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Then season it with the names, Ya Hadi, guide me. Ya Latif, make it gentle. Ya Rashid, set me aright. Ya Wadud, rooted in love. Sit, listen, test, and walk. Keep your journal as a garden of signs. Over time you will see the pattern. The real keeps bringing you to the same virtues: truthfulness, patience, gratitude, and trust through different roads. That is redirection. Not a detour from your life, but your life becoming a path to the one. Before we move to the final part, I want to invite you to join this circle of seekers. If this journey is nourishing you, subscribe so you don't miss the closing practices and the last turn of Ibn Arabi's wisdom. Your presence here helps this remembrance travel farther. Let's bring all of this home, to the place where your breath meets your next step. You began feeling lost. Now you know that loss can be a lantern, bewilderment a sacred threshold. Ibn Arabi calls this station a mercy, because the end of knowledge is bewilderment, and beyond that end, a vaster intimacy begins. As he notes in the Futuhat al-Makkiyah, the point is not to chase certainty, but to live in faithful responsiveness. And the keystone practice remains simple and alive. La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka, inni kuntu min. Then the names that turn you: Ya Hadi, Ya Latif, Ya Rashid. Confession, praise, guidance. This is the arc that redirects a life. Here is a redirection loop you can carry anywhere. First, stop. Feel your feet, soften your jaw, release the shoulders. Second, recite 3 breaths of La ilaha illa Allah, then Ya Hadi, Idini, then the plea of unity. Third, listen. Ask for the next beautiful, truthful step. Fourth move. Take that step within 24 hours, however small. This is striving with Adab. and there is a promise for those who strive with a sincere heart. And those who strive in us, we will surely guide them to our ways. And indeed, Allah is with the doers of good. Quran 29-69. Redirection favors the walker, not the warrior. Picture a morning when anxiety stalks your work. You run the loop. The first breath loosens the tyrant of comparison. Ya Hadi steadies your pulse. Eunice's confession melts the pride that wants dramatic rescue. Then, a quiet directive appears. Write an honest email, clarify expectations, and schedule an hour for focused craft. No fireworks, only fidelity. Ibn Arabi would say, you just practiced he, not he in motion. You honored the form email, schedule, boundaries without worshipping it, and you sought the real who discloses himself through these forms. This is unity of being as medicine, seeing the one in what is, not forcing what is into your image. Remember how guidance begins, in a cave, a heart listening. The prophet sought solitude in Hira before he was charged with the world's compassion. And when the command to read descended, his first classroom was the tremor of his own body and the blanket of a loving spouse. Ibn Arabi reads such beginnings as the breath of the All-Merciful, moving through human breath's nafahat, that awaken names inside us. So when you sit to recite, honor your humanity. Wrap your heart like Khadijah, wrapped the messenger with warmth, reassurance, and good opinion. Guidance grows in gentleness. It withers under scolding. You may still ask, what if I cannot carry this? Then accept this mercy. You are not meant to carry what exceeds your frame. The trust is sized to the vessel, and the vessel expands by love and practice. Let this assurance anchor you on heavy days. No soul is burdened beyond its capacity, and every burden has a path of release and growth. Quran 2-286. Ibn Arabi would add that capacities are names unfolding. When you recite, you are consenting to become the person who can hold the next light. Do not race your becoming. Walk it. Water takes the shape of the cup. So does guidance. Guidance is personal, but never merely private. The Prophet practiced consultation. Saints traveled with companions. Lodges of remembrance were built so hearts could steady one another. Keep company with people whose presence increases your honesty and your hope. Bring your sensed redirections to someone who prays, who knows your patterns, who loves you enough to disagree. Ibn Arabi himself sought and offered Suba the courtesy of shared journeying, because the real scatters wisdom among hearts like stars across a night. No one carries the entire sky. In such companionship, your recitation becomes communal breath. Your steps find rhythm. Now a 7-day turning you can begin tonight. Day 1, morning, 33 La ilaha illa Allah, 33 Ya Hadi, then Eunice's plea 3 times. Evening, write 1 sentence about what softened. Day 2, Adwaye Latif, asking for subtlety in speech. Day 3, add a simple act of generosity, even a message of encouragement. Day 4, practice a tech-free walk and listen for the next truthful step. Day 5, seek counsel on one decision. Day 6, offer a private charity. Day 7, a half hour of reading from a trusted text and a full page of reflection. As the transmitted saying Ibn Arabi loved reminds, whoever knows himself knows his Lord. Know, then walk. Do not forget the story that carried us here. Eunice in layered darkness sea, and night finding a rope that was not outside but already in his throat. Every descent hides an ascent if you will name the one. Confess your need and praise beyond your blame. And remember how the messenger was found, lost to the measures of his people and then beautifully guided. A reminder that bewilderment sits next to favor like dawn, next to night. Quran 93-7. Let this verse be an ember in your pocket. When confusion rises, touch it, breathe, and say the words that open water into a path. Ibn Arabi leaves us with a lover's cartography. The real manifests through endless forms, and love is the grammar that makes those forms intelligible. In the Fusius al-Hikam, he shows each prophet bearing a wisdom, a facet of the diamond. Your life, too, is a prophet-shaped classroom. Musa's patience, Ibrahim's trust, Yusuf's forgiveness, Muhammad's mercy. The unity of being is not a slogan. It is a way of walking so spacious that closures do not embitter you and openings do not intoxicate you. Huwa, la huwa, he, not he becomes a daily courtesy. You bow to the form, but you love the one who shines through it. So let's close in the way that opens. Right now, wherever you are, sit a little taller and soften your face. Whisper 3 times, La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka, inni kuntu min azalimin. Then 3 times, Ya Hadi. Let the sound be a key in a long-loved door. Decide one beautiful, truthful step you will take within the next day, however simple, and write it down. Share your intention in the comments so others can walk with you. Someone needs the courage your sentence will give. If this journey met you where you were, like, subscribe, and pass it to a friend who is wandering. Begin the 7-day turning tonight. May the guide, the subtle, the one who sets right, make your bewilderment a garden, and your next breath a path home.